some short park memories and end of our memories when we started earlier. Shall we do it chronologically? Did anybody bowl at Sept in the 50s?
We were born in 56.
Wow. How about the 60s?
Yeah.
You were in the bowling alley.
We were in the bowling alley. We were raised in the bowling alley.
Yeah.
So with 59, was that when it opened? I don't remember. Wow. The bowl opened?
Yeah.
Yeah, so our parents bowled, and my dad was the president of the San Francisco Association for many years. And Lenny's actually the reason why I stayed in bowling after I moved out of Pacifica. He sent me to Tracy Bowl, and I ran the junior program up there, and then became assistant manager. And they always ask me, does he still do magic? Does he still do magic? Yes, he boggles my mind every time.
Wow, you remember all that.
Oh, heck yeah. My dad would go home and try to copy your magic tricks, and we never figured them out. He didn't work a lot when he was behind the bar. He was too busy doing magic, and yeah, but Lenny came in and just everybody fell in love with him, and like I said, we grew up in the bowling alley. My sister over there, my other sister who's not here today, and Kay, and a lot of our other guys. Mike, we remember Mike bowling as a junior in the junior program, and Rita Ellison. No adventure charge. She ran that junior program and her kids, and
She was amazing.
yeah, then it died, and then when Lenny and all the new owners came into PCL, as we called it, Pacific Coast Lanes, they said, you're going to do the junior program. You came up in the program. So I ran the junior program for a couple of years, got it back on track. I brought in 125 bowlers, all little guys. In fact, in that book, I was showing Kay and my sister, the article is in there, and my son, who was 4 at the time, two-handed bowling. Then we bowled a tournament in Millbrae. I was so proud of him, two-handed bowling. He put up the first 5 at 4 years old.
Wow.
The whole bowling alley. And now he doesn't bowl. He hates it. No, he has no interest in bowling whatsoever. But a lot of
Well,
memories.
what about you, Kay? I mean, you grew up at Sept.
I did my bowled until probably, well, just before COVID. It was 3 years prior. I injured my arm, so
Okay.
I had to stop bowling, and I had gone semi-pro at one time. I bowled AD and went on tours, went on semi-pro stuff for a while.
What's your last name, Kay?
Ross.
Okay. And did you grow up here in Pacifica?
Oh yeah, I still do.
Did you?
I live at my mom.
Okay.
I bought
Did you
my
go
mom
to
dad's house.
Sarah?
Yeah, I graduated in 74.
74.
Yeah.
I'm 75.
Okay.
I knew the Ellisons.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, no, we in fact, when the bowling alley, when we were kids, the bowling alley didn't have all those lanes. Part 1 through 7, I think it was, or
1 through 6.
Yeah, 1 through 6. It was a pool hall and lockers. Oh. It was lockers, a pool hall, and it had pinball machines. So I mean, we were pinball pros.
Remember, it was all windows, so you could stand and watch, the lanes went right by us.
Yeah.
And then we could watch the bowlers. It was lane 1, it turns into lane 7.
And the back room was the party room.
Yeah.
And the adults had parties there sometimes too.
Yeah.
In fact, there's a story of one time that my mother had told me that it got raided. And my mother and father happened to be there that night.
Yeah.
And her mom and dad.
Which room was that? Which room?
It was a room
There was a
behind
back
the
room,
lanes.
the lake behind the lanes, behind the pool hall. There was a park, and that's where all the birthday parties and stuff were held. And yeah, that got raided one time for the adults. So I don't know what was
You're
going
saying
on.
raided by
The police. Raided by the police. Yeah. Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And then they closed that off and they added the 6 lanes. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, that's where we used to hang out, and parents had pinball machines.
It was safe. They could, not worry. We ran bowling all over. We'd go to sleep under the table, under the benches, wherever.
I mean, when we were babies, I mean, we were the back benches. They were longs. They weren't seats. They were long benches, and that's where our parents had us sleep. I mean, mean, that's what I did, and I did that with my daughter.
Yeah.
When I bowled league, I mean, my daughter was at her bassinet, well, I mean, from 3 weeks after she was born, she was in the bowling alley every day.
Yeah. It helps with the kids sleeping at night.
Yeah.
All that noise, you can put them to bed during a hurricane or a tornado, and they'd go right to sleep. They were so used to the noise.
But I bowled, well, I bowled sea-bowl, and then I also worked as a cocktail waitress and a bartender, and then I also bowled Sarah Bowl. I cocktailed there for a couple of years. So I bowled.
Were you a waitress at Seabolt? Or
cocktail waitress?
you were a cocktail waitress at Seabolt?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then when in early days, my best friend Beth Croft, she worked in the restaurant.
Okay.
So when the restaurant was open, she worked there. And then she worked at the Muffin Mine, which was an old restaurant that doesn't exist anymore either.
Right.
So,
Wow, thank you. What great memories.
Oh, God. There's so
Okay, I see you shaking your head. Did you bowl at Seabolt like in the 60s or 70s? Or?
So my mom is over there. We've been here since 1968. She just passed away in March, so I got her. Okay, hold on, you guys are killing me. So she's in the picture with my 3 aunts. She has the red ribbon, Anna. She was on the teams, and then that she probably did a 300 because that's from Disneyland. And then the 4 people is my aunts and aunt-in-law, Peraltas and the Bradleys and the Lowers. So Fancy was, mom was our manager on Adobe, and we lived right across from her. And then you guys mentioned another name I can't remember. But basically, we spent our whole lives there, the birthday parties, and then he had the birthday parties. He had an opportunity to work through a program last year at the bowling alley. So he worked for a year there, right before they closed. Yeah, so that's it. I just, my mother would be here with us right now, hanging out. So for all the memories, so that's why we're here in honor of my mom. And we love the place, we're bummed, so that's it.
Yes.
I don't want to get emotional.
Sorry about
Thank you. Thank you. That's great.
Can we have your name?
Michelle, and Donald.
Your last name?
Well, it's Nunes, but my mom was Lauer, Peralta.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody have any early memories or later memories of Seabolt? Okay, here we go. Are those tables or in the back room?
I was actually, I am considered the last of the bowling alley babies. I started going to the bowling alley with my mom, Sharon, Matei, Len, Matei, I don't know if you guys know them, but when I was 6 weeks old, I sat in a car seat under the desk where my mom worked. Once I was old enough, I started falling asleep on the ball returns, the racks where they kept the balls. My mom used to say, "Where's Denise?" And somebody go, "Over there in the ball return." I'd be on lane 1. I grew up with the bowling alley. Len actually gave me my first job in 1986. I was the customer service. And I used to love going out and chasing the pins in the channel. But I would be embarrassed because I was like, please don't fall as you're walking in the gutters. And I did. I wiped out a couple times, ended up with grease, or oil, from my hand up my sleeve, and people would laugh at me. And
That's because I told you you'd go faster. Come on.
yeah, and my sisters used to threaten to throw me down the lane. So let's see how much oil's on there. Okay. But I did. I hung out there. I knew so many people. It's really sad when I heard it was closing. And unfortunately, we live in Tracy, so I didn't get a chance to come out once it was announced that it was closing. I also figured that if I went in there, I would start thinking about both my mom and my dad, who are both deceased, and I just couldn't bring myself to walk through those doors. So seeing it on video is really cool to me. I was a junior bowler from 4 years old, whether I wanted to or not. My mom was like, "You're bowling. I don't care. You need to carry on the a family tradition. You're bowling. So I bowled up until 10 years ago, and I ended up with arthritis in my right shoulder and in my left knee. Gee, I wonder why. I spent 40 years bowling, and unfortunately, I never bowled a 300. My high gain was a 291. Don't ask me how I did that odd number, but 291. Now I'm getting my husband involved. He's got to bowl. He doesn't have a choice. He must bowl, and he's a lefty. So when I try to teach him how to bowl, not happening. Because just like my mom couldn't teach me, she was a lefty. My dad had to. So I'm kind of carrying on the family tradition. My youngest son is also a bowler now. He used to play football and said, "I really hate this game. It's too much contact." I said, "Well, I got a game for you. You know, nobody has to touch you." So bowling is his thing now. My oldest son, who lives in Oklahoma, he's actually a bowler now too. And he was a bowling alley baby, but we didn't call him that. He would disappear, and I don't know who here knows Sebastian Scorsnelli, but he would chase my kids. I have 6 of them. This is the baby, but he would chase my kids and try to give them candy. Here, do you want candy? You want candy? And my kids, being like stranger danger, would run to me and go, "That guy with the really long hair is trying to give me candy." And I'd be like, "No, that's Sebastian. He's fine. He's harmless." And so, but they would take off and run, and I never felt afraid to let them run. It was like everybody in the bowling alley they didn't even have to know that those were my kids. They would just round up the kids. "There's kids, go back, find your mother." Or, you know, and my oldest daughter used to walk around to all the bowlers and go, "Money, please." And she was like 3, and everybody would dig deep. She'd come back to me and she'd go, "Look what I have, Mom," and she would like fan out these dollars. And I was like, "Where are you getting all that?" "All those people that were throwing the balls, they gave me money." Okay. But the memories there are just, it felt like home. It really did. Even the people that I really didn't know knew my dad because he worked there for so long. And I felt like a part of a huge family. And now to know that it's gone, it really kind of breaks my heart. I don't know how everyone else is feeling, but even listening to the memories, it hurts. You know, it really hurts. And I hope that they come up with something again to do. Maybe another bowling alley. Maybe somebody will actually come in, because I know they said that there's no plans for it yet. Maybe somebody will come in and make it another bowling alley. Maybe not call it Seabowl. Hopefully not PCL. And I did wanted to ask you, you would remember, I don't know if Lori would remember, who were the 3 bowlers? I know there was Cliff McNeely. Who were the other 2?
Don Bell,
Don Bell.
Rich Karuba.
That's it. Thank you. I could not remember, I can only remember Cliff, and I remember him, and I remember his sense of humor.
Everybody remember Cliff. He was the cute
I was too young for the whole Cliff. I mean, yes, I had a crush. Who didn't? But I was too young to get into all that. But I could not remember for the life of me, you said the 3 pro bowlers, and I kept saying, "I remember Cliff, but I don't remember the other 2 men."
Yeah, Don was real small, slender.
Afro.
Rich was dark, yeah.
And Don had Afro.
And, you know, and I just wanted to say that seeing you again has been absolutely amazing, because it's brought back so many incredible memories from the 80s.
For me too.
Just crazy. And I love when I walked up to you, you had no idea who I was until I said, "Linda Tay." And you were like, "Oh!" And you looked back at my sister and said, "I remember Lori." Well,
You were just a little girl. I mean,
you're
13 or something.
No, you gave me my first job when I was 16.
I got a story about that.
Uh-oh.
Finish it.
I'm all done. Go ahead. This side out of here.
So I had experience running bowling centers, and I never really met Mr. Royce. He had a secretary named Martha. I dealt with Martha, and she was very tight with a pencil, you know, this and that, and got to do this, and so I started thinking about it, and we had a budget to work on, which all good businesses have. And I knew about the facts of bowling centers countrywide, that a 32-lane center would have 32 employees, but some of them would be part-time. And as I started to interview some of the people that were involved, I started thinking, man, you know, some of these ladies here, they'll work for, you know, half the wages that the men will, because they only want a part-time job. So we had 32 employees there, and those that can remember, I was one of them. Greg Nauman was the other. He was head mechanic. And then late at night, Gary Woida was his assistant. So that was 3. The other 29 people were women at my bowling center in Pacifica.
People didn't want to leave your bowling center.
Well, the other thing I'm proud about the bowling center, and you brought it up, I haven't really thought about it since back in the day, but it was a safe place to be. There was never any problems in there. A lot of times gangs will show up and rowdies will come in and loft the ball up to the ceiling. We never had a problem. And then I figured out why. We had a guy that was standing around there named Art Wong. Remember Art Wong?
Oh, yeah.
He was a small Oriental fellow, about 70 years old. And he had trained a bunch of kids at an early age about karate and kung fu and whatever names. And he had a reputation, you don't mess with Art. So anybody that came in that was a youngster that would see Art standing there, oh, I better behave myself. And we never had a problem, which was wonderful.
But a sweeter man on everything.
Yeah. Art's gone too, from what I understand. But yeah, we had all these ladies that, you know, did a fantastic job. And I miss them, I really do. In fact, even my girlfriend at the time, she was the head bartender. And she was the one that was in charge of hiring all the cocktail waitresses. And anybody that's been involved with any kind of a business where there's money involved, in a bowling center, that's the biggest place you can rip money off is the bar. But she was honest as day is long, and we used to count the money, like the Monday night leg. It was always the same amount of people, and it would be like, let's say $1,400 would come in. Tuesday night it'd be $1,500. Wednesday night, $1,600, because each night there'd be more and more bowlers as the week went on. And if we ever got a new cocktail waitress, sometimes that number would fluctuate. We can't have that cocktail waitress. She's taking home some money, you know. And so we stuck with the same basic crew for a long, long time. And Carol Borland, I mentioned it earlier, I'm indebted to her because, like I said, that was her life. She had 2 little girls, Fancy, and the other one, I can't remember her name. Krista. Yep. And she loved those girls. And when the girls weren't in school, they were down there bowling. And Fancy stomping her foot on the floor. She was so determined. And I told her she had one leg shorter than the other from stomping. But she turned out wonderfully. And I miss the place. I really do.
You know, Lynn just talked about having 32 staff members. When the bowl closed, they had 32 staff members. So it's amazing that and most of them were around it for years and years and years. I just want to add a couple of things that we did mention about earlier in our program is that the general manager, Mark Cordelia, he was going to be here today, but he was on vacation. Greg Nauman was going to be here today, but unfortunately he was out of town. And the other bowler that was the staff man and the desk manager and everything for so long was Tom Steff. Remember him? He was going to try and be here, but now he's the desk manager over at the Classic Bowl, so he wasn't able to be here today. But those names, when you hear about them, you think about all the years and go back and see those people. Because I used to, when Lynn started the bowling column, because I thought it's always nice to have the names of people in the paper. To this day, I still believe a community newspaper needs to have names of people in the community, whether you're in sports or whether you're in arts or whether you're in education. we need to put people's names in the paper telling what they did. And he's right. And he talked about the cost of $500. That would have cost him $500 for an advertisement in the Tribune at that time. But it was always nice to go down to the bowling facility and get that call on and put it in the paper. Sort of just like Little League. I mean, this town would not exist with a lot of the kids playing Little League, because I think we flooded the papers, Little Leagues and bowling for many, many years. So those memories really go back.
Can I add one thing? Before I forget, because I'm old, I might forget this. We talked about the ladies working there at the bowling center, and how Carol Borland made my job really easy. Gotta pass on a little bit of a tip, how we had such a successful bowling center, because all of my league secretaries were ladies too. And I remember them all, I really do. And I just got the chills the other night, because, and I'm not talking politics, I promise, but some lady politician said, if you want a man to do something, whatever, how'd that go? Anybody know?
Every good man is a woman behind it?
No, it was something like that, though. If you want something done, you ask a woman.
Oh, you've done right?
Yeah. Because...
If you want something talked about, you ask a man.
Yeah.
If you want something done,
Exactly.
you ask a woman.
And those league secretaries, they filled that place up morning, noon, and night. And I'm indebted to all them, too, because they were the ones carrying the load.
Well, I got to go back a little further. Person that headed up the junior program, Marge Brown.
Oh, yeah.
So
Before Rita, right? She was before Rita, right?
Oh yeah. But the one thing, these young ladies over here, one of my fond memories is when I was scorekeeping, and I got to take care of all of those parents of these young ladies. And it was really funny, because there was one person there by the name of Lee Nurley that was a bowler, but also she was very competitive when it came to scorekeeping, because that's where we made our little money to be able to afford to pay that 25 cents a game. And so the thing with it is, after a while, a lot of the parents that were on teams kind of got fond of their certain scorekeepers. And so you come in at night for the early league, and you'd go to see who's bowling who, and then who's going to arm wrestle who, and who's going to keep score. And it really got to be a little feisty, I'll tell you, because it wasn't so much the scorekeepers, because Lee she was tough. She goes, hey, that's my team, I'm scoring for it no matter what. And then the other team says, you're not scoring for us. So it kind of got interesting, but those are some really wonderful memories from Rilda and Art and Len Matei and the families. Another couple of names I'll throw out is, as soon as I remember what they were, Art and Dolly Thielen. And so, and these were excellent bowlers. I remember Rilda very much so, and Dolly was first time I ever saw a bowling ball with 5 holes. She used her whole hand when she threw the ball, and she was excellent. She was excellent. So from those adults, as I learned as a young teenager how to act in a bowling alley, and that's the respect that you had to have.
Well, what was funny was we had 5 moms. Our own mom didn't even count. It was all the other women that kept us in line.
Yeah, there was never a problem with the children being in the situation we have kind of today. All the parents chipped in to make sure everybody paid attention. So those are some of my fond memories.
Yeah, our mom used to say, if I can't smack you, one of these other women will.
Okay. Remember Jill Banks? Jill Banks kept us all in line.
Yeah, she was my neighbor, so
now you brought up another memory, because after I got out of juniors, I ended up coming back coaching the juniors, a very good scratch team that competed against Castle Lake. And that was, some of the names were Steve Banks, Steve Lewis, Bob MacArthur, Rick Franco. So, yeah. And John Armstrong.
Yeah.
Excellent. So, yeah, there's a lot of wonderful memories, and I see that now through these generation of bowlers, and it's kind of all going away.
Well,
Just memories.
not even the scorekeeping for the leagues. It was scorekeeping for the pot games.
Oh, those are the big ones.
Do you remember? We'd each have a score, you know, Kay would be here in this seat keeping this team, and I would be in this seat keeping that team, because they had to make sure they had their own scorekeepers.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, so we both got paid big bucks. Yeah, it was great.
And during league, the 111 and the 7th frame, you made sure you circled that really good, so you got that extra quarter.
Well, the other little extra thing is to make to get yourself some free games when you were basically going to want to practice.
Yeah.
Is you clean the score sheets
Really good.
the afternoon before, so that you can get some free passes so you can
God,
bowl.
I forgot about all
I
that.
did too.
See, automatic scores came in and ruined it all.
Oh yeah,
You know.
yeah.
So then we had to learn how to
That's
put
why
their
all the
names in
kids
our
kept
jobs.
kicking the machine so they'd break it.
Well, hey, when I was 299, I was wishing we had automatic scores because it was not up. Because I had no proof of my 299 because it was in practice.
Yeah. That's right, Lenny and Tracy. I'm still up on the board for a $2.99. I gave them Tracy Bowl. Yeah. I haven't bowled in 10 years now, but I always check in every once in a while, and my name's still the top one up there.
You know, you said 111 and 7. I haven't followed this in 40 years. That was a house. Remember you put a house up there like roof on it?
We circled it.
We had a circle.
We had a circle and we would
That's
make
how old
it
I am.
so
You only have one hole in the ball, right?
You know, that was the evolution. See, we do circles. Lenny built it into a house.
That's true.
I didn't have enough space on those things, you know, to put a house. That would go into the up above score.
And you go home with yellow all over your
Or
hair.
everything.
From it being so hot. Yeah. Those are the days.
But yeah, God, I would start it. I mean, we would be there all night. I mean, especially Friday nights. You started the first league, and then by the time you got done with pot games, you know, yeah. And I did my vacations. That's how I paid for my vacations. There was through keeping score. By that time you were asleep on the seat.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, Pacifica Tribune is online now if you want to check those old scores.
Yes, they are.
They're all there. It's one of the
One-
things we did the last couple of years. We got the Pacifica Tribune online all the way back to 1956.
Oh, wow.
So, and Horace was talking about all these things are online. So you can, you know, put your name and the key word.
The one thing that I'd like to finish, at least for me, is that this is the young man over here that promoted C-Bowl and really put the scores in and did the hard work to really get the scores out. I mean, people love that in the paper.
Sure they did.
And that's another thing that the Tribune kind of dropped, you know, to the bowling alley too. So thank you, Horace.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you very much. That was really, it was great, as I said earlier, to put names of kids and adults in the paper, because the community newspaper is all about names of people and doing things and things like that. I just want to highlight some of the things that we remember about. Marion and I bowled as a family at the Sea Bowl for several years, and we had our kids bowling, and it was great. In fact, one year, it's really funny to remember now, is that we bowled and they made T-shirts for us, and it was the Love Horse Henshaw team. They'd go around and get the picture, and everybody stood up, and I had to stand face like this to see my face. Yeah. But it was a fun time. It was a fun time. What time are we looking at now, Pat?
4 hours.
Almost 4.
It's almost 4. Can
Okay.
I say one thing?
Yeah.
The one thing that was so important, my mom, you know, Rella Ross, was such an avid bowler. She would not let anything stop her from bowling. She needed a shoulder replacement. It was a reverse replacement, and they said that you wouldn't ever be able to bowl. She refused to have it done. My mom was diagnosed with lung cancer, and she was given a short amount of time to live. The week before she died, she made me take her down to bowling alley for the women's league on Wednesday, for the senior league on Wednesday, with her oxygen. She was bound and determined to bowl that last week. Unfortunately, I couldn't figure out the oxygen. She threw one ball, and that was all she was able to do, but she was down there. I mean, that's how much our family, loved bowling.
Yeah.
Dad did as much as he could. He was bound and determined that he was not. And, I wish I was as strong as both of them, because I wasn't able to keep up, and it's something that I'm sorry to see leave this city, because it was such a wonderful thing for all of us to grow up with.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Anybody else have some memories? Laura, give him the mic.
Hi, if you don't know me, I'm Don Miss. I had actually worked there a time ago with my school program over at the adult business program. And that's not all, they even did a birthday ceremony as well too.
You help clean and
Yeah, so he also helped clean. They had me do other stuff too, like I also had cleaned the arcade as well. I even was asked to go behind the counter too for the sales as well. But I mostly did the cleaning stuff. And then I also I went to move on to a different bowling base. Classic bowl a while back there. I'm doing some scenery there too as well. I'm cleaning again.
you bowl pretty good. You get 3 strikes in one game.
Yeah, that's right. Well.
Yeah, it's something you would be.
Yeah.
Every day. King.
This is most silly about the scene over here.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks. That's great. Oh my gosh, nice job. Yeah. Anybody else? Anybody else? We're going to wrap this program up, I think. It was, I think, very successful. I'm glad you guys stayed around to just share your memories. That 65 years is a long time to be bowling. Mike, I remember writing about you a couple of times in the paper there. So yeah, I remember that. And yeah, so it was fun. So Pat, you have any closing remarks that you'd like to make?
Our exhibits are going to be up through Fog Fest, all around, pretty much as you see them now. So tell everybody to come on down Thursday and Saturday between 1 and 4 for the Fog Fest weekend. After then, we're going to have to contract a little bit, and we'll probably move upstairs to have a little bit smaller, but still will be featuring Sea Bowl as part of our permanent exhibit. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you. So anybody else have any closing remarks? If not, we're going to wrap it up, and be sure to buy your change on the way out the door, and please come back and visit the museum, because there's much more to the museum than just Sea Bowl. So there's hundreds and hundreds of years of things that you'll learn about Pacifica. Once again, thanks everybody for coming. Have a good afternoon. And let's go!